Good morning, everyone. For today, we'll be discussing about the models of communication. So again, I am your teacher for today, and I'm in Miss Jodelyn Dino. So let's start the discussion about the models of communication. So first, let's discuss the different objectives or the goals that we need to discuss for today's discussion. So first, we need to differentiate the various models of communication. Second one, we need to distinguish what are the unique features of each communication process. For the third one, we need to discuss the different functions of those communication. Let's start. So the first model of communication is the Aristotle's model of communication. Everyone is familiar with Aristotle, a great philosopher. So, but now let's talk about what is the model of Aristotle. So, it has the speaker, the speech, the audience, and the effect. We discussed chapter 2, the process of communication. As you can see, there is always a reply or feedback. But here is a different model. For the Aristotle's model, Aristotle believes that a communication should be passive. Communication is one way or linear. Linear meaning straight. As you can see, there is no feedback, no noise. Why? Aristotle's model example, because it's a linear or one-way process model. For example, a teacher. The lesson or the discussion, and the audience will be the student. What will be the effect? So the effect will be the students will learn or get knowledge. Aristotle's model doesn't have any reply. It only have the effect. Because there is only one person talking. The audience or the students are just listening to the teacher's discussion or lesson. So how will I know the effect? If that student learned or gets knowledge, or if the student understands me, how? If I can see that the student is answering his or her quizzes and activities in a model. Or for example, if a politician is a speaker, a politician will give a speech, and a politician's audience is the people. And how will we know the effect? We will know the effect if the people will vote for the politician or if the politician will win the election. That is Aristotle's model of communication. It is passive. Again, it is one-way communication. You only have the focus of this is the communicator or the speaker. How will we know if the speaker is a good communicator? So he or she must be or must have the following. Number one is ethos, a good character. Number two is the emotional connection, which is a politician or a teacher must have a emotional connection to the people that she is talking with. Logos is logic, wherein the politician using logic for him to win the election. Next, we have the Shannon-Weaver model of communication. As you can see here, we have the noise. We have the channel. Shannon-Weaver communication has the sender, which is the originator of the message, the encoder, the one who transmits the message, the noise, which is called as the distraction, and the decoder is as the converter. And the receiver is the final destination of the message. So, how is this model or process of communication shows us? Here is an example for us to be able to understand what is the Shannon-Weaver communication or Shannon-Weaver model of communication. Thompson made a call to his assistant. Come here, I want to see you. During his call, a noise appeared, and his assistant only received, I want only. Again, the assistant asked Thompson, what do you want, Thompson? So there is a transmission error or a noise, a barrier. So this is called also as the telephone model. So there is noise and a reply. The focus of this model is to know the reply. Why? As you can see, the reply of the assistant is I want only because of the noise that she heard from the flow of communication. So there is a noise so that the assistant or the receiver did not receive the message completely. So the telephone model shows that if there's a noise, the reply won't be complete also. Again, the focus of the Shannon-Weaver model is the noise and the reply, the transmission error and the reply of the receiver to the sender. Next, we have the Scrums model. When we say Scrums model, we only have three characteristics or the encoder, decoder, and the interpreter. Scrums model. As you can see, we will be focusing on the encoder and the interpreter, or rather, encoder and the decoder. But let's first talk about what is interpreter. So the interpreter is the one who is trying to interpret or understand the message. So both encoder and both the decoder are both entitled as the interpreter. Why? An encoder is the one who first transmits or giving a message to the decoder. So the decoder is the first one who will be interpreting the message. As the decoder interprets or understands the message, the decoder will give a reply to the encoder. And then the encoder will be the second one who will be interpreting the message or the reply of the decoder. So this is continuous, circular. Scrums model. Scrums model is used when Scrums model is used when using text message or messenger, chat, or emails. This is not happening simultaneously or not happening at the same time because it has intervals. Whenever we receive a message through chat, you always need to interpret or understand the message first before you reply. So that is not happening at the same time. because it is time consuming. When you are encoding a message, first you read comprehension, next you encode, and then you will send. So that is time consuming. So that is we said it is not happening at the same time. Likewise, what is happening in the Shannon Weaver. Shannon Weaver is happening at the same time because it is through telephone, happening simultaneously. Unlike the Scrums model, that is not happening at the same time. Next, we have the White's model. So you can see there are many words or many flow of communication according to White's model. According to White, he described communication as continuous. It has no beginning and no end. Eugene White introduced the concept of feedback or reply. So how? So in this perception, let the speaker about the response of the listener. So the speaker should monitor the listener. Why? Because that is the only way that we can receive feedback. Because we are trying to get feedback and to communicate continuously. Because according to White, there is no beginning and there is no end. As long as you are giving such reply, the speaker monitors the listener. If the listener gives reply, the speaker will also reply. So the communication is continuous. As you can see in the model, we have here, the first one is thinking. First, you should think. Whenever you wanted to talk with somebody, all we need to do is think. For example, first thing in the morning, you think, what will you do? Then you get a symbol that you will do your modules. How will you express what to do with the module? You will be talking to one person. You transmit the message and the person will be receiving the message. As long as the person receives the message, he will try to decode or understand what you are talking about. And then the person or the receiver will give you the feedback. And you, as a listener, as the speaker, should be monitoring your listener. So you will be giving, or the listener will be giving you feedback as well. Just like that. You think, then you get the symbol that you wanted to, and then you express what will you say, and then you transmit, you send the message, and then the receiver will receive, and he will understand and gives you feedback. That will be continuous as long as you monitor your listener. So for your activity, so you need to come up with a model that shows the communication. So it's up to you with whatever you choose. It can be Aristotle, the linear or the straight model. We have the Shannon Weaver, which is the circular or the telephone model that is happening at the same time. We have the Scrums model, not happening at the same time. It is happening through the text, messages, and chat. Or it can be the White's model, which is happening continuously and giving feedback from one another. So that will be all for today. So thank you so much. If you have questions, you can comment down below. And please watch the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.